all these Emmy nominations. I mean, to two separate shows. I mean, this is unbelievable. Fleabag, I want to say, got 11 nominations, and Killing Eve, 9 Emmy nominations. Not too shabby at all. You're the second person ever in the history of television to be up for Outstanding Drama and Comedy Series. That's amazing.
Yeah.
How's that feel? Is that cool?
Thank you.
What made you come back to do season 2? Because you weren't going to do that, right?
Oh, Fleabag? Yeah. Yes, I wasn't, and I was very smug about not coming back because I thought I had a lot of artistic integrity in not coming back after the first one. Because the first season had a proper ending in my mind. It was based on a play, and it was adapted to the same ending. And I wasn't sure that I felt like in the first season it was the most interesting version of that girl's story we were ever going to hear. And especially because the camera in the show, Fleabag talks to the camera a lot, and that was the relationship that was most important to me. And at the beginning, in the first season, by the end, she stops talking to the camera for the final 5 minutes of the show. And I thought, unless I can reinvent a reason for why she talks to the camera again, I can't see how I could justify coming back, because the whole point in the first one is that she had this front and this persona to the camera until the secret was revealed, and then she's kind of shy. And so going back to the second season with the same persona, even though they know her dark secret, seemed sort of dishonest to the character. And so then when I came up with the trick of another character seeing that she looks to the camera, that's when the whole thing cracked open again.
And there's CGI in this season, by the way.
Yes, I know.
If you've ever seen Fleabag, I go, wait, where's the CGI? How does the CGI come into Fleabag?
That was kind of a necessary little last-minute moment. We have a fox in the final episode of the second season, and I'd written this kind of like sexy urban fox character, not thinking that I'm going to have to cast this guy. And so I was thinking this, and foxes, they're everywhere in London. They come out at night and they've got a swagger, and they own the city at night. And so I'd written this fox that comes in, looks at Fleabag with this kind of wise look in his eye, then looks down, and then Fleabag gives him a line and says he went that way, and then he trots off. And sort of naively, I was like, yeah, we'll just, get a couple of real foxes and just give them the notes, and we've got a really good director, and the script is strong, they'll be fine.
Fox director, yeah.
Yeah, and these 2 terrified little country foxes turned up with their handler called Buttercup and Primrose, who'd...
That was the name of the handler or the name of the fox?
The handlers. Brian and Terry with the foxes. No, so Primrose and Buttercup were the foxes, and they turned up, and they'd never been in a city before because they'd been brought up and trained in a sort of, countryside drama school for foxes. And and it was a really busy road, and there was like massive, it was in the middle of the night, and there were massive buses going past, and so all the crew had to kind of huddle in a corner not to upset the foxes, and they literally came out and they were like, what the hell is this place?
Yeah.
And but the only way to calm them down was to play Coldplay. And so the handlers, I know, it was so bad. The handlers brought out a little Discman, like a little CD player, and they were like, everyone needs to be quiet now, because Buttercup particularly likes this track, so she might come out. And we're like, fingers crossed. And then we played, I think it was Fix You or Yellow, I can't remember which one it was, and the whole crew was standing there like this. And I'm at the bus stop going, don't move. And then a bus would be like, nah. And but then eventually they would come out and they'd scrabble around, and we got like a snout in one shot and a bit of a tail in the other as they were running around. But then the handler did come up to me halfway through and say, probably should have told you.
You think?
That Buttercup hates new environments, and Primrose is very nervous around people. So either way, we're and, sorry, we shouldn't have said that. So we ended up having to get the CGI fox, and there he was.
So when you see that, you know that it's CGI Fox in Fleabag season 2.
Yeah.
On and on and on. I said, and it's on and on and on.